Now we're live.
Blessings, family, blessings. Welcome to another episode of our nation building series. This is Constructive Convos, bringing the conversation back to black. We have a interesting topic today. We're talking about group economics. We're talking about how to build this nation, and we need them dollar bills to do that. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the family. I'm going to introduce our panel members. We got our sister Nine Ether, Nine, as Witness always says.
Yes, bless up family, one love, don't know. Peace and love, man.
We got our brother B2.
Blessings, family, powers and love. Big up.
We have our brother E, Black.
Don't know. Big up everyone. Big up family.
We got our brother J.
Manners and respect. Reporting for Jegna duty.
All right, and I am the one and only melanated goddess. Beautiful melanated. I'm just joking. So back to economics. We we as a group, we have a lot of chit chat about how to build this nation that we want, how to help better the black community, and so wanted to find out what does the panel feel. Let's just start with the basics. What is economics? What does the family feel economics is about? I'll say that economics is pretty much um, dealing with finances, monetary uh, advancement, I guess, as a whole. But it really has to do with circulating the dollar within the black community. So when I say black economics, I'm speaking about circulating the dollar, hopefully several different times, 4 or 5 times in our community before the money even leaves outside of our community.
Yeah, for me, when I hear economics, I think about energy. Energy, using our energy productively, and through productive energy use and collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
we should produce something. Something should come with it.
Yeah. Like I definitely agree with that one. Like time and energy is is an important, and sometimes that's the only resources that we have. Obviously, ideally we're gonna have all three, but when we don't have the third one, which is finance, or we can use the other two to get that. And when we have finance but we don't have time, we can use other people's time with our finance and vice versa, with the energy. So yeah, don't know.
Wow, that was a very interesting spin on it. I mean, I can see how if you don't have the resources financially, another resource, and most times I'm gonna admit I don't even look at my time as a resource, but it actually is. You could give your time. We give our time so many times to like just just wasting it. We give our time and our energy to things that nothing is not productive. Nothing comes of it. And if you can give your time and your energy to something that is fruitful, you never know later on it can give you monetary gains. That's that's pretty dope.
Straight up, straight up. Some people are great at playing PlayStation, experts, but they haven't found a way to monetize it yet. So it's a waste of
Mhm.
time. But if but another man could potentially, I don't know, be helping out in a woodwork shop or something like that, and he can find a way to build a chest of drawers, and he could turn into a specialist at that, and then that turns into money for him.
Mhm.
I suppose
So
like it's about output, isn't it? Like having a good output of whatever we're doing with our what we're putting in. It needs to be bringing out more, isn't it? Really, that's good economics for us
so
anyway, personally.
so with economics, what age do you feel is best to start getting educated and involved in economics? What age would you all recommend?
think your whole life should be productive when it comes to economics. I'm sorry if I cut anyone, but for me, what did Malcolm say? You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. If you're taught bad practices from the beginning, for instance, if you're put in front of an iPad from early, and you're not learning to do something constructive on the iPad, then you're already starting to build negative rituals in your life, which might not amount to anything productive in the future.
I think that's a very good point, actually. Well made, actually. And yeah, and that definitely goes back to the energy talk. Sorry to butt in. Go on, bub.
No, I finished, man. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like I said, I mean, just to even answer the first question in terms of what group economics means to myself, it's very much about what I mean, as the word suggests, group in it. So group means more than one in it, even more than two. And I just think that we need to really be heading in a direction whereby we're doing things in, do you know what I mean, groups, however big or small those groups are, man. But the one thing is going to get us very far, or not very far, not very quick, as far as I'm concerned. And the thing is that we know that it's a practice that works. We see other communities exercising that very same practice, and we can see the the results of it. So yeah, so for me, like I say, group economics is about coming together, me, you, the next man, we all come together, we put in our change, and we make an investment, or we buy an asset in order for it to turn over, as opposed to this me doing it as a singular unit, which I'm sure many of us are out here doing, But so yeah, and in terms of the age of a child, I mean, realistically, it could be argued as soon as they're able to talk and, do you know what I mean, have a sort of able to talk. But certainly, like in primary school, I don't think there's nothing wrong with, do you know what I mean, certain financial knowledge being given to them, or give them little tasks, or at least let them work for their money. You know what I mean? Them little things that used to be, that done back in the day as well. So yeah, man, that's my take on that, man. But my youth's 9, and I'm sort of trying to let him know one and two things, definitely. And that's what yeah. So yeah, that's ever a bit long, but yeah, man, that's my answer, man. Yeah.
You
man.
guys, sis?
Like for me, it's a kind of the same thing as Nanta's saying, in terms of like, yes, early as possible, let them earn, like so they can learn the cause and effect of putting in work and getting a reward for your work. And also, to what Jay's saying about like, time, energy, also, teaching them how to schedule and how to plan and achieve. You can do that from early, from probably young. First in it, they just need to realize the concept of time, and then from there, that not to be wasted, and then how we can get the most out of it. And then on the group thing, yeah, man, we need to have a cohesion and a mission that we can agree on, and then something we can put in on, and then we just need to all contribute to that until we reach our goal, innit? That's how I see that.
Because
You know,
4 people buying a house is nothing,
Mhm.
Do you
Straight
know
up.
what I'm saying?
Straight
Huh?
up. I definitely agree. Straight up.
Yeah, 4
Wait,
people buying a house is nothing, man. When you can see people come over, and I'm not being funny, but you don't know what I'm saying. You with me? From places not too far away, and they come, and within 10 years, what they amass as a unit, there's nothing that we shouldn't or can't be doing, man. For real, for real.
Mhm. I was just thinking when he was talking about the energy and the time thing again, right? And I was thinking about a conversation, you know, I had with a young person, and this young person I've been like kind of coaching them for a minute about like making good choices and so forth. So when they had their first job, they was all excited and they was like, working real hard, taking out the trash and sweeping the floors and mopping and so forth. But when they got their check, they was real happy. They was like, "Whoa, I got all this money, and now they're a little bit older, and they're like, it's melanated, you know. I don't want to work hard, but I want the money. Like I don't want these type of jobs where you got to put forth all this work and work all these hours just for this check." So now they're starting to see how they put more value on their own time, and they're demanding or expecting, you know, a certain amount of compensation for their time. But when they were a little bit younger, their time wasn't that valuable. So I was just trying to connect the dots and see that, you know, some people put value on their time. And so to spend time with them, to share and to get some of their knowledge, that's going to cost a certain amount. And for other people, their time is free. You know, like you were saying about sitting in front of the Game Boy or the Xbox. I'm saying Game Boy, the Xbox or the PlayStation. You know, just giving away. Yeah, I'm showing my age. Hey, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah. So it's just
showing age. Did you say Xbox or Atari, sis?
No. Oh, I didn't say.
She said Game Boy. She went for the 90s.
Game Boy, you done went and showed your age and about
Yeah.
Listen, this is grown economics talk. We putting that fun and that you know, that realness on how to better our community. That's all.
Definitely. You know.
No, but it's a necessary conversation, man, because we are very much financially illiterate. You understand me? And that's not even necessarily a socio-economic thing either. You understand me? Because there's enough black people that have got money and they still don't really know what, man. So we need to re-educate ourselves about re-educate ourselves about money, and that energy thing is so interesting, man, because that's exactly how we need to be thinking. Because enough of us give away our thing for free, and then when someone else asks for, and I'm sure I'm guilty of this, so you get me, I'm not pointing fingers or whatever, but then when someone asks for money for their time that you may give for free, you understand me, you start questioning it. So yeah. It's interesting still.
I mean, that's a real good point right there that you bring up, the whole financial literacy thing. And I think that, you know, it's perfect for talking about economics, because if people don't understand,
that's
they
it,
don't
sis.
understand how you make money, what to do with money, what type of accounts make money grow faster, and what accounts you're protected and stuff like that. You know, I definitely am not on this panel with all of the answers, but one thing I do know is make sure you got you a good network, because then you can't say you don't know. You know someone who do know, then you know too. If they know and you know them, then you know. That's all you got to do, is just ask them.
Can I ask you something? Because everyone's around the globe right now in this call. I wanted to ask, has anybody else received advice that we have to work twice as hard as black people to get even?
As white people, you mean?
As black people? No, as black people. Do we have to work twice as hard to get even as other people? Well, probably white people, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was a mantra for most definitely growing up, 100%. Which is something that I've said that the young people are missing today. Because enough youths think that they're equal, and that's the problem. And then the reality is not so, and then we have what we have. You get, because even me myself,
I also worry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go on, Bab. Go on, because I was gonna go on quickly divert, so keep me on track. Go on, Bab.
No, what I was gonna say is this. I also noticed that I see a lot of older people in our community sometimes that are really working very hard, even now, dedicating a lot of time and energy, and they're not really getting much back for the hard work that they're putting in. That I think sometimes they're expecting hard work to have really great benefits.
You know what it is, brother.
I'm starting to think working smart.
And not only that, but you gotta have a plan. If I could get my dad, if I could phone him and get him to come, you have to have a plan, brethren. Because hard work without a plan is just hard work. hard work with a plan and an aim and destination. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So many elders, they just, yeah, so I agree. They're working hard, but without a plan. You see a
So we gotta
plan,
have
I'm
hard
telling you.
work. We gotta have a plan, right? We gotta be financially literate. Literacy starts early. I'm just taking verbal notes here so we can, we can kind of be on track with some of the key points, so we can,
No, but
share these
I
things
think that's
with our
right.
loved ones at the table tonight or tomorrow when we having dinner or while we're at work and talk to our coworkers. We gotta spread this information. So go ahead.
No, for real, man, because like even myself, even though but it's also about application because many of us know certain things but we don't apply it. Do you understand? So it's also about application, man. But yeah, man, I think just for me, for especially for the young people listening or the younger persons listening that really are, at the beginning of their financial journey and stuff like that, or even those that are at uni, especially, like I would just definitely encourage them to try, like going back to what Sis Melanie said about a network. Just find a good little network of, if you can find a network of 3, 4, you understand, where you're all on the same page, yeah, and you go into little business ventures together where you all put in your money and that's the
Yeah.
only way forward. I'm telling you, man. It's
I
the
was working in
only way
construction,
forward.
yeah, and there was I went across the road to buy some chips from the chicken shop, and I see this young snotty-nosed Asian lad behind the thing, and I said, "Oh, so how did you get this place?" And he said to me, "Oh, my family all put their money together, and I just work here, and when we get enough, we move on." And another thing, where I go youth club, there's a 15-year-old Turkish boy there, and he said to me with his high chest, "I've got 5 kebab shops." I said, "You got 5?" He said, "No, I've got 5 kebab shops. When I'm 18, they all come into my name, and I might even have more by then."
There you
So
go.
he's telling me about how his family's all working together.
There
They're
you
all
go.
working on
And
one
they
thing so
just
they can
come.
get the
Where
next one
dear
and the
ya,
next one.
Where dear ya, them come,
Exactly.
Where dear ya. You get me? Where dear ya, them come. And I can match that story. But it breaks my heart. You know them ones. But yeah, man. But again, it just shows us the power of group economics, man.
So
So
so we
five
wanted to
five five shops, yeah. Jeez.
listen. So we wanted to like what are some areas of black owned businesses that we could get into? What are some, like, popping businesses that somebody should start, or even some that you already know that exist? Let's just call them out because someone watching this may be inspired to even, like, oh, what, I never thought of doing that. You know, I know, like, car detailing stuff. That you can pretty much go in any black neighborhood, and they got a couple of detailing spots that you can get your car detailed. Um, child care industry. We got sisters opening up daycares and stuff like that. Come on, people. Barbershops.
Yeah, I think we got our barbershops locked at the moment.
I think we got barbershops. Definitely.
They're creeping. They're trying to creep in. But the hairdressers, the girls' hairdressers, I know they're creeping in there.
They creeping in where?
Oh, some places I've seen. I've
Man,
met sisters that say they go
these
to.
women is crazy. Couldn't no woman who don't have my nappy hair doing my nappy hair. It's not
I
happening.
I totally agree. And my
It's
hair's
not
long, and I could
happening.
never let a next person put their hair in my head, hand in my head. Madness. Your grandma got to teach you how to deal with this hair before I let you touch it. You understand?
Yes.
But
Wow.
there's, but,
But CC, I mean, I'm sorry to cut in again, and this probably might be again to thingy bob. But at some point, if I, sure, no, let me not even say it. Practice what we preach.
What about like the real, like, the skilled labor, like plumbing, car mechanics, um what else black people do?
I totally agree. Yes. I think
you know,
I personally think construction is the way forward.
There's some industries that, you know, like black people used to dominate, and they just like, I don't know, like they just allowing other groups to push them
Because we
out of it.
stopped practicing group economics, sis. I'm telling you.
Cause
Because
like,
them things that if you go back to you know, the Black Wall Street and a couple of the other things, even in America, there it started on black group economics. You see pictures of them all together. You understand me? This, that, and the other. It's the only way forward, man. One hand cannot clap.
so listen,
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you guys,
Facts.
I got my floors done right in my house, so I went to like a larger company, right, like a chain store company, and somebody came out, and this person was like, I want to say he was like a Indian, you know, like from India or something, like, and he came out and did the measurement, said, all right, I'm gonna send you class, they're gonna send you a quote. So he's contracted. All he does is do measurement, right? So they probably cut him a check for his labor for the day, right? Because he writes up a report, they send him the money for doing that. That's one. Number two, this guy he probably pays these people a group of like 6 Spanish dudes. They didn't have on the shirt no logos on it, like they coming from the main company. So I'm sure they just know how to do floors, and they get, you know, they have a contract to do this job. And they came out, they speaking their Spanish, and they pum pum the hammer, pum pum pum, floor's done. I pay the company pays them. Well, that could have been some black dudes. It could have been Tyrone and Ray Ray doing my floor. You know, like all we need is to come together, right? That's all we need to do.
no, not just that. People with ambition need to come together. Got enough people now, that ambition. Enough people know what you get me. Enough people don't want to do what you just described. Enough of them don't want to do it. Yeah. So I'm only sorry. I don't want to go off, but yeah. So I hear it definitely. But
Because I'm
those with
sure back
ambition,
in
man.
the days,
But if you take the one them without ambition, they're gonna fuck up your shit.
I know back in the days,
Trust me.
somebody used to know how to do some floors. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that our there's somebody's grandpa out there talking about when he used to lay down, you know, hardwood floors and stuff, and knows how to do carpet. So why aren't those things passed on? And if you know your grandpa know how to do it, start a flooring business. Start a flooring business for real.
Up. I just think that we've kind of missed we've kind of been. How can I explain this? I feel like we've changed our targets now to the point where what we think is success doesn't actually equate to success. We're just going to get higher up in somebody else's business. We're going to be more reliable to them, which they do the easy work of just paying us 50K a year or something, without us actually going out and hunting for the work ourselves with a skill or a trade that we've acquired. I heard a story of this girl from the Midlands, and she was a dentist, and she was really depressed in her role. And her husband, who was a doctor, said, let's just quit our jobs, babe. We don't need to do this. And they went traveling around South America. And every time they ran out of money, they set up their tent or they found somewhere to stay. And they said, right, guys, I'm a doctor. She's a dentist. Come and see us. And the people would flood in. They would treat them with the little things that they had. And then they had their money again and they could move on. If we've got the... Sorry, I got cool. I know those two are big jobs. However, I keep getting a call. Any kind of job like that, where we are in control of our own trade or skill, and we can carry our tools in our bag with us, and we can bring resource to ourselves, are fantastic ideas for actually pushing us forward as economics. And that means I'm reliable to my family now. You know, if I've got a job in somebody else's company, then I'm no use to my family. But if I come to you and I say, listen guys, I'm the guy that can lay wood floors. I'm the guy that can do any kind of flooring. That means everybody in this phone call and the family that's listening to this phone call that's close should be able to call me and say, no, I'm going to go with this guy. He might be, and this is another thing as well. I might be £50 more expensive, but that's because I'm starting out by myself right now. With the community support and with time, I can lower my prices even lower than any competition if you're going to be loyal to me. The same way that you're loyal to Primark, the same way that you're loyal to all these other businesses, the Chinese man and this man and that man, meaning that they can lower their prices. With our own loyalty and unity, our prices can reflect it. It's a small price to pay, a little bit of extra money on top. But that discipline is not what people want to have. They don't have no long-term vision. I noticed that.
Well, do you think it's because, you know, and I'm just being a troublemaker right now, right? I'm being a troublemaker. You sound like one of these like pro-black, oh, we need to come together, blah blah blah. You know, you sound like all of that. Well, how does that benefit me? With this whole group economic thing, like, cause y'all is black community. What is the community for? We just doing this for what? What's the end goal?
Right. So I'm gonna start with a saying, a pro-black saying. It's an African quote from back in the day. They say, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yeah? So, as a man from London, and with plenty of different communities, I've been to Chinatown. I couldn't find my way around because everything was written in Chinese. And I know that when a Chinese man's in trouble, that's where he goes. When a Chinese man needs work, that's where he goes. Do you understand? And they've got Chinese businesses there that bring money into the Chinese community. Now, if all we keep doing is looking to everybody else, and we keep going into other people's places of work, and whether we can flower it up with pretty words, if we go in there begging for an opportunity to help them build their empire, it's not going to help us in the long run. And in another way, we're taking our, remember we was talking about time as energy? And time and energy, we're giving away our energy, and we're giving away our time, and their empire gets built. We got only a small wage out of it, in which we paid our bills, and we got to go back and give them our time and energy, in which their empire is being built that they rely upon. We've got no empire to rely upon. I hope I'm being clear with what I'm saying, and I'm not being too, staggering through too many points.
No, I got you. Anybody else? Got any comments about what benefits? What's in it for me if I decide to do this pro-black thing and do this group economics?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Bro, I can hear you.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Sorry, I got a lot of background right now, but yeah, I think in the trade situation, we definitely need to get more people into trades, and we definitely need to be tapping into them, when possible. Obviously, a lot of people, or a good amount of people, are in social housing, so they don't get the choice with the trades. But for those of the people that are paying people, definitely should be looking for someone from the community and having skills. At the end of the day, that's what is gonna outlast money, innit? Being able to build a house is always going to be beneficial, and being able to do plumbing always going to be beneficial. So certain things, we definitely need to be moving more to the stuff that we can be in control of, and controlling the stuff that we need. I think that's where we should start. A lot of us want to control the glamorous things,
Straight up.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We got to see through the illusion now, man. That's what it is as well, man. So for myself, and I've said it before, I don't even care if my son goes to uni in it, but he's gonna have a trade. You're gonna be able to make money with your own hand, so that if a man sacks you or tell you to move back yourself, you can go out there and still, you understand me, maintain your family. So I definitely second what's just been said. You know what I mean? You can go to uni, no problem, but you're gonna have a trade. So you're gonna be at uni with a trade.
And even
especially as a man, I think it's so important that a man has a trade. I think it's just vital, man. Especially a man of color, because we can't even compare ourselves to the indigenous population where it could be argued. I mean, if they've got the gift of the gab and half a head, they should always be able to land nearly on their feet. But we can't expect that. You know what I mean? Going back to that, you know what I mean? Working twice as hard. So we just got to make sure that. And I'm certainly expressing this for the young people that are coming up, especially. You know, they got to be savvy, man.
Sure. And like
But
with like skills as well, yeah. Like say for example, if a group of people come together, like I'm a bricklayer, Jay's a plumber, we've got a carpenter, we've got a couple other people, we could just go to Africa and start building. Like, you know, we obviously
100%.
need a little bit for materials, but it's like, okay,
100%.
we work out all our material money and the money that it's gonna cost for us to survive, and then we build a house for everyone.
100%, brother.
This
But
is
you have
already
to be in
happened, you
it to
know.
win it.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated to it. But there's
You
a
get
man,
me?
if you type it in YouTube, there's a man called Walter Seagull, and he had this idea of how people could make really easy put together houses. And they did an experiment, I think it was on Grand Designs, and they got just normal people together. They taught them basic carpentry skills, and these people got a bit of land, and they all built their own houses. The contract was they had to work minimum 35 hours a week on their own property, and they built their own houses. So
In Africa or in England?
that was in England.
Yeah,
So
I've seen
how
I
it.
think
easy
I
could that be
saw
in
it, you know.
Africa?
Yeah, no, yeah, sorry. I think I saw it still.
And
I
I
think I
think
saw
I
that as well.
saw it.
even in England, we're fighting for something in London. I just don't know what's the point. Like, come on, we've got family with property in London. We sell that one house, we can buy 5 houses in Blackpool, and we can make the new Blacktown in Blackpool. And someone could buy 5 houses, live in one, put another 4 pro-black people in the other 4
Come
houses.
on.
Come on, and then we got a village. Do you understand?
Well, maybe we'll have a CC village one day.
Boy, oi. Boy, oi.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
listen,
like
I don't wanna, you know, I like all of the talk about people having trades. I just want everybody to know we need engineers, we need doctors, we need lawyers popping up in this in this nation too. We need you to be knocking out college, just getting all the degrees that you can. You know what I'm saying? Because we need you to obtain that knowledge and bring it back to your community. We don't need you getting the knowledge and then assimilating with other communities. That's what we don't need you to do. But we definitely need people to have these, you know, this information on how, you know, people going into what's the major for politics where you learn all these different structures so we can have, you know, our nation, our communities being fair and being equal and having the best structure and so forth. So, you know, definitely the education that you get in your university is valuable. You know, we just need all hands on deck. You know, people knowing how to sew clothes, and we can design and we can wear our own clothing that's designed by our people. Learn how to make some shoes. Last night I was looking on that We Buy Black. I was like, I'm gonna give me some black cleaning products to clean my house.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you know what I had
But
an idea? I had this idea that because I go to a lot of these pro-black meetings a lot of the time, and I was looking at there's a show called How It's Made. So I went on YouTube and looked up the version. What about the machines that make socks? And you know, everybody talks pro-black. We all wear the white man's underwear or the Chinese man's underwear. We don't even make socks. That's something that's we all need it, and that's not something that at the moment people care that needs to be designer in my experience. So, you know, there's a gap everywhere. Everything that we don't make right now is an opportunity. If you can find a network of people that believe in what you're doing, and you have to be great at what you do as well. You know, you can start out and be okay, but you have to have the vision in your head that you're going to be one of the best in the industry, and you've got to push yourself forward. So you're not only providing a black service, but black is supposed to be synonymous with excellence. Anytime you hear the word black, it's supposed to mean excellence. You understand?
Yeah, I wanted to take this moment to encourage anyone in the chat. If you have your own black-owned business, or if you know of a black-owned business and you want to put them in the chat, and everybody check all the links and see if you can patronize these people. That's what we need to start doing. We need to encourage. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed wherever you are to have that in your speech. When you get a headache or you you need to start looking for a doctor to find out what's going on with your head. Make sure you're going to a black doctor. Your tooth is hurting you. Look for a black dentist. Like, that's not racist to do that. That's dope to do that. Come on, you guys help me. What you're supposed to do. What you should do. Support your people.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely, but at the same time, I just want to even add to that I don't. Well, going back to the term group economics, I don't think that it necessarily has to be. I don't necessarily think that the economics that we're looking for has to be within the community. Do you understand me? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that.
Hey, gotta elaborate on that one.
Yeah, I'm coming, man. I ain't going nowhere. I'm a dayer. Worst, I have a new earphone so I can move around freely and talk. Hey, but hey, right now I got one drop off to the side like a DJ. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that we have to. When we talk about when I let me say talk about group economics, I don't necessarily think that it just has to be money. You know what I mean? The black pound or the black dollar. You understand? Or the black yen or the whatever. You understand me? I'm saying that we can still reach out a bit further and take some of that.
You're saying black economics. No, what I'm saying is that when we spend our money, we should be spending our money with black people. But if you have a business, your customers don't have to be only black.
Exactly.
Oh, hell no. We need that money back.
Yeah. No, well, exactly.
I'm twice as nice to everybody else. You understand?
Exactly. And just going back to the university thing as well, because I think that's a really important thing as well. Again, I think we have to encourage, because remember, when we go to uni, they're just extravagant mind control centers, yeah? So, all right, we go in and we come through at the other end, but many of us just go on to be more glorified slaves, innit? So what we need to be encouraging the youth them is when you go in and you come out, to come out doing your own thing. Because most just come out and then go into the same system that we're saying we have on fire upon. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Right.
So all I'm saying is that, go through uni, brilliant. But when you're going through uni, try to go through uni with the end plan of knowing, ultimately, I'm looking to do my own thing. You understand? Because in a way, you have to deprogram whilst you're going through uni, you have to kind of deprogram yourself. Because obviously they're programming you to be their slave, just maybe at a higher level of pay than your, minimum wage slave. But it's a slave all the same. You with me? So to really, I just see Raz come up with his finger, I just looked at my screen and Martin's got his finger up. But
big up family.
But yeah, man, I think for those of our young people that are going to uni, I think that's a really, really important point. Do you know what I mean? And I can't even remember that, but there was a situation in America. I can't even remember, so I don't even talk about. I know, I think it was maybe in the 70s or 80s or something, where there was a situation in America where the graduates were. No, you know what? No, I can't remember 100, so let me not start. But yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Come out of uni and go and try and build up your own thing, or at least have that in your vision, as opposed to just becoming a more glorified slave, which is what most people that go to uni become.
100. Feel you, sis. You're right on point with that. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sis.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was in the that spot.
No, I can hear you, man.
But I suppose, another thing that we need to do is like the networking thing between ourselves. Like we definitely need to get, stronger and better and that, like because sometimes we find it easy to break up, but hard to get together. And like
100%, man. And and encourage the value in it, because I know I've probably missed enough opportunities just because I didn't really network back in the day due to whatever.
I think your circle, you know what I'm saying, like your circle can influence you. So whereas you might not even be of a mind to like start your own business, or you might not even think of like think your idea or know how to even expand it. Sometimes you have an idea and just because of your circle, you know what I'm saying, they help you be able to expand that idea. You know, like I'm really really grateful to the ancestors, you know, for people who hold me accountable for stuff. You know, like man, if it wasn't for my big cousin holding my hand through the process, I wouldn't have became a homeowner because I was one of those people. My circle was all, oh, you know, that's why I'm like an apartment because when you buy a house, it's too much you got to worry about and all this other stuff. And so if everyone in your circle is saying the same thing, then how is your mind elevating to even being able to become a homeowner? You're not even thinking about that. Your mind is still on everyone's on a renter mind. You know what I'm saying? And it was because of my circle, my accountability partner, you know, pushing me. So did you fill that out? I'm like, so now when I'm waiting, I'm like, oh my gosh. The next time I talk to him, he's gonna ask me, let me just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you just be like, let me just do it. So sometimes that your network is on point. If you want a better job, be around people who have a better job than you. That'll push you to be on your grind. You're gonna push yourself.
Well said, sis. Well said. Well said. Well said, man. And again, that comes back to that energy again that brother JJ was speaking about. Because if you're
Mhm.
amongst people on that high energy, you can only but mirror that same thing. But if those around you are just on that, you know what I mean, that low, and it can be so easy to fall into that. You know what I mean? Let's not even get it twisted. So
Oh
we're not
yeah, that's
pointing
that's a
fingers.
comfort right there. That's the comfort zone right there. You don't
Come
gotta
on,
do
man.
much. You know what I'm saying? You're just chilling.
And
That's
we love to chill. And I can definitely put my hand up and say that's something I've definitely been guilty of. Chilling.
chilling.
100%, man. 100%. There were those worse than me, thankfully. But yeah, man. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
going
man.
forward, that's something. And again, that come, even that time management again. You know what I mean? It's all, yeah, man. It's all interrelated, man.
Mhm.
Cause
Yeah,
you get
definitely,
me. I'm
man.
sure there's man or woman out there now that's sitting down, running five zoo, where in that time they could have gone out and earned a little, you know,
Yep.
whatever, man.
Trust. And
Yeah,
even
again,
So
we
like
put
what?
up my hand.
watching
So
EastEnders. I don't know if it how many is EastEnders. Does anyone know? Like, is it on 5 days a week or 7 days a week? How does it work? Anyway, these kind of shows, like you could listen to an audiobook instead, and it's
True
like so
words,
many
brother E.
so many things that
True words.
people don't know they could learn in it, or something that you're gonna pay someone outside of the community to deal with. You could have just learned how to do it in that time. Don't
so
want to.
what?
So economics of time is important. But go
So
through,
what?
bro.
So what do you guys think about sort of like universal basic income being a way for Black people to lift themselves out of poverty?
I didn't
Is
hear what you said, right?
So basically, what do you guys think about universal basic income being a way to uplift Black people out of poverty? Because right now they're doing like sort of like runs because they did like surveys and pilots in the 70s, 60s, 80s and 90s in Canada, India, parts of Africa, and North America, and in fact Alaska, which is like a state in America that is very, very good and that has a lot of resources when it comes.
So is this like a policy
And
change?
no,
Is this like a policy change when you saying universal income? The government would be issuing you that. What is it you're trying to say?
yeah. So basically, universal basic income is an income or a social dividend given by the government to its citizens. It could range. It could be any amount, but it's not legally binding, so you don't have. There's no conditions attached to it, and it's basically a societal dividend where they collect taxes and they redistribute the taxes as dividend to their citizens. And it has shown to increase wealth because when people got that, they pool their resources together and invested in things. They had more disposable income. We saw that mothers took more time off to cater for their children. We saw a whole community lifted out of poverty in literally like in 4 months of receiving the base income. We saw families owning homes because they had a guaranteed $1,000 income every month. Um, so families could plan to actually buy houses because if you had like four people over the age of 18, that was $4,000 guaranteed income.
Wait,
Um,
wait, hold on one
for
second,
them.
Let me ask you this question. So is this like public assistance, but for everyone? So regardless of how much money you make, you still get
Yeah,
this money.
100%.
So,
It's a social
so,
dividend.
so, so basically, but if you were very wealthy, you still got this money. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
you
saying?
you still got this money, and the reasons for that it's
So
being
wouldn't
to
the economic gap between the haves and the have-nots still be pretty much the same, just at a higher level?
No, because the rich is not going to be getting that much money compared to what they pay in taxes. For example, the rich would not have a ratio between the haves and the have-nots would not be considerably wider. In fact, it would close the gap of income inequality because people would actually own business, people would own homes and actually own wealth and recycle that wealth in their community with the business that they're starting with the money that they're getting that is tax free. So this $12,000 that they earn a year is tax free, and it's actually it nearly passed the Nixon administration nearly passed it. The reason it didn't get passed in the Nixon administration is because the Nixon administration wanted to raise it up, and because of politics and because and not bipartisan support, it got dashed away, and now is re-entering mainstream academia and is re-entering the economic circles, and people are actually talking about it as a viable solution to
Oh, okay.
poverty.
Anybody else
Yeah.
have any thought on this
Oh, Martin
universal
Luther King
basic?
actually. So sorry, Martin Luther King actually and Malcolm X actually were proponents and supporters of the universal basic income because they saw it as a societal dividend in which the society and its government are in a relationship where where the society is obedient to the government, and in exchange the government is cordial to the citizens by giving it a dividend on what it earns.
Okay. Does anybody else have any input on any comments on the universal basic income that Raz brought up as a possible solution to
Mm. Like,
like
Does
poverty?
everyone
like for
understand it
me, yeah, like
100%?
it's cool. Can,
Huh?
can,
Does everyone
can
else
you not hear me?
understand that 100%? Is it just me being a bit?
It's I think it's basically like a benefit, yeah, that is for everybody in it. Basically, in it, it's universal. Everybody gets that as a minimum threshold in it. Like everyone gets 1,000 a month or whatever it could be in it. Like, I think that's cool in it, yeah. Like, but I think that's kind of like much far further away in the future, if anything.
Mm.
Like, so I don't really feel like it's something to explore too deep, even though it's a nice concept in it. It's kind of like the Venus Project kind of thing, the ones there. Unless like a
Uh,
government is gonna implement it, yeah,
yeah.
like it's not in our hands, in it. So I think like on the solution based thing, like we should kind of stick to the things that are within our control.
Well, the reason why people, I'm glad you said that, but but in fact, right now, it's actually a very viable option because a lot of people, so in the economic circle, a lot of people are having an issue with what do we do with the people who are going to be dismissed from their jobs because of automation, robotics, and technology. And there is basically a thing right now where they're looking at history and they're saying when has there been a technological disruption to the economics system, and they look back and they say, okay, in the early 18th in the early 18th century, um the majority of Americans, I think 95% of Americans, were employed in farming. When a machinery came in, that cut it down to, I think it was 25 or 30%. Now, what happened with all those people that were employed in in these sectors, they created new sectors, right? They created new things, and they grew their economy like that. So bringing it back to the 21st century with automation, with AI, with the less of a need of human manufacturing and all of that, what happens to all of those jobs, right? The issue is that people don't really know what will happen because what industry is going to fill in. So the governments around the world are actually saying, and the World Trade Organization and also the IMF are saying that we could actually give people money and let them find the resources to create wealth and create industries with that money that they've been
I
given
hear
as a
that,
dividend.
but you know what, Raz? I appreciate what you're saying, but there's two things I'm worried about. Yeah, the first thing is that this is also takes cooperation from somebody outside of our community.
Sorry, you kind of broke up there for me, bro. What did you say?
I'll
Say
say
that again.
sorry. I'm just saying the first thing I'm worried about is that this sounds like we're waiting for cooperation from people outside of our community.
I'm not saying that we should wait at all. I'm not saying that we should wait at all. I'm just saying I just asked the question that do we think, yeah, that would be beneficial for black people to go, like, for example, yeah, if they are gonna do this, right,
Hmm.
what would be the steps for us to utilize this? Because having an extra £1,000 or $1,000 in your bank account as a black person, and you're having a low income job of, let's say you're earning like $18,000 or £18,000 a year plus a 12,000, you have, you have $30,000. You're already in the bracket of middle income by doing virtually no more than you're doing right now. So how can we utilize this extra income if this is, because this is really looking like a plausible option. It's in the debates, it's in academia, it's in the universities, and then it's in parliament and also in the Congress. So this is available because they're realizing, and Silicon Valley is actually pushing this, and they're realizing that we're having a problem. People are screaming about inequality. People are saying that we want fair rights, we want good pay, we want stable jobs, we want that gap to close. And this is basically like a token. Now I understand like this token may not yield good results in the long term, but for us black people, how can we take this money and how do we utilize it to get the best bang for our buck, basically?
Well,
Okay.
I think if we employ some of the strategies that we, have talked about, and we plan on addressing, as far as like how group economics will contribute to just the black betterment in itself. I think we can employ some of those strategies, but I think I'm gonna kind of agree with Brother E, as far as like I don't want to spend too much time on this project that's it's not here. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really have it, and it's not tangible. So why don't we spend more time telling black people about how to improve their situations, or how we can improve our situations based off of what we have now, which is
Yeah,
just regular economics. And so I mean, if it does manifest, it sounds great, and it'll be extra. And by then, if people are educating their kids on economics very early, we're working on our networks and so forth, then if we had extra resources, then we'll be equipped to be able to use that. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I think it comes
Hmm.
from like the foundation is we gotta have these tools. We gotta have a mindset to be economically wise, to have a good network, to be business minded. Because if you give that $1,000 to a person who their mind is to be an employee, they still won't start a business. You
yeah,
know what
one
I'm
hundred
saying?
percent. Yeah, one hundred
They're gonna
percent.
go out
Mom,
there and buy some Jordans. They're gonna go out there and smoke a bunch of weed. They're gonna go out there
yeah,
and get 300,000, 400,000, $100 weed. I mean, and we're just gonna be where we are. But if your mind is on, you know, I'm gonna get black hair from a black distributor, and and when we start circulating that dollar and having our mind in that way, then we could talk about that.
I agree.
yeah. I agree 100. I agree with you, sis. But what I was thinking, right, is like sort of like having like because observing this from the outside and observing the way the politics is being talked about in this issue, it seems to be something that it's likely to happen in the next probably the next 5 years due to the income equality and due to all of these different trends of Wall Street being deregulated, people being unhappy and unsatisfied with the jobs being lost to automation. So this is very much on the table to appease a lot of different people. And
I
if
don't
that's
think
the
we're ready for it
case,
though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if that's the case, yeah, if the predictions that they're making is correct, that this will be something, how do we prepare for this? Because my thing is, yeah,
Okay.
we sort of need to like
So how do we
in
do
my
group
own
economics, Raz? Because you weren't here when we asked that
no, I
question.
heard no, I
How
heard
do we do
I
group
heard you.
economics?
No,
So let's just
I was listening to it.
$1,000, right? Let's just say
No, no,
everybody got this $1,000. How do we do group economics with this with the money? Okay, I'm asking you the question. How do we do it? What do we do with it? Everyone has the money every month. Now what?
no, but what I was saying, yeah, the thing, what I was actually saying, yeah, is yes, people are gonna have the money, but it's about the organization, yeah. How do we organize? Because think about it, yeah, these people, all black people are getting this at the same time, so it's not pots and pools of black people working here and there. It's all of us having this at one time, right? So it's easier to move on as a block and as a unit. Now, I would put forward the question: now, how do we organize in pots and not in pots and pools, but in mass? Because this will be a mass thing. It wouldn't be pots and pools here and there of businesses here and there. It would be like would there be like a strategy? Would there be a group of people that would have a strategy of, let's say, like the Marshall Plan that England and all of the World War II torn countries had to reconstruct their country? What is the African American and the African European a strategy for
Hello?
here is economics on the local level and the community level where
It,
people come together,
sorry,
but
but my idea is this, yeah. Well, firstly, I want to give a little bit of a backdrop to this. What is the point of a business? The point of a business is to fulfill a need. So people have needs. Someone needs bread, so now we need a baker. Somebody needs their car fixed, so now we have a mechanic, yeah? Cool. So how do we create bakers? How do we create butchers, mechanics, painters and decorators and all these things? A lot of the time, these people need money in order to inject into them. So now we've got an African concept that we use in the Caribbean called a partner. We used it. My grandparents used it to buy their house in Britain. Yeah. So, and I know many families that did as well, and many families that still do partners in order to move forward. So
what's that?
everybody, I mean, just for anybody, for the benefit of anybody that doesn't know what a partner is or what they call in West Africa susu, yeah, it basically is.
Oh yeah.
If 10 people put in £50 every month, yeah, when it's after they put in £50 for 10 months, on the 11th month they get £500.
Someone gets
and then the next person gets 500, and then
the next
it's
person,
a form of saving, yeah.
So you do that as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. So here's another thing now. What about something called a credit union? Now, I watched this documentary once which said that Germany has loads of credit unions, and I find it very interesting that Germany was blown to smithereens in World War II, but in the later years they've been one of the strongest countries in the European Union, having paid off everybody reparations for what they did. They spent a lot of money on Israel, but they've still built themselves up to be one of the strongest in the EU. So a trade union is when everybody has their savings in a certain place, a bit like a partner, and then we use our savings to invest into one of us in the circle so they can start up their business. So for instance, you come to us and say, look, I've got this great idea. I've created something. It's a brand new product to clean your shoes. I think it's going to be great, but I need £10,000 to start up. All of us put in our £1,000 to give to you, but we tell you, listen, you need to pay us back £12,000. So you make your money, you start your business, you become profitable, and when you're profitable, you pay back £12,000, or you give us shares in your company. Now, with that extra £2,000 that's in the circle, because we've got 12,000 in the circle to invest into. Yeah, and we keep doing that until we've all built ourselves up to have businesses. Now, our businesses can all contribute back into this credit union. This is happening in England right now, and other people are doing this together.
So how do you deal with certain sectors being made redundant?
I'm not interested in those because there's not a need for those sectors. That's why they're redundant. The fact is, you know, if we look at the situation of black people, some of these
Yeah.
sectors that are going redundant don't matter to us one bit. The things that do matter to us are our basic needs and in our comforts. And once we can do those two
yeah.
things, we're not really too interested in Silicon Valley and all of these other things, the
Okay.
IMF and all these people.
Yeah.
I personally think that they're against us, not for us. Do you
I
understand?
I
That's my
I
perspective.
would agree 100% with you, yeah. But my thing is that sort of like I have a thing where I believe that for us to succeed, we need to be better than everybody else in every department, right? Whether
Okay.
we could have that discussion of, oh, why are we, aspiring to them? But I believe, yeah, we don't live in a bubble, in it. The world affects us, so we need to deal with how that world affects us and be on top of our game to make
I
sure
agree.
we do not become the bottom. So if
Yes.
the community beside us is building something that may be potentially threatened to our survival, we need to build something better than that
Yes.
in it. So
Can I
we
give
need
you
to have an industry that competes with that. So as that, we need to sort of have because me, yeah, I'm for employee run companies, right, where the employees own stakes in the company and benefit from the profits of that company. So I would
yes.
be for the pots and pools. Like if we had, yeah, like people that are receiving this income, they come together, they open up a factory and they get the robots and the machines and all of that, and then they train up people, and then they're making whatever they're making, and they're selling that at a profit.
We do live in an international community, brother. I agree with that, and I think that's very much important. And this is how I understand it. They took my people from Africa and brought us to the Caribbean so we could work in the cane fields, and that's why when we plait our hair, we call it cane roll. Yeah. So anyway, so we worked on the sugar cane, and then with the sugar cane, we built the British sugar industry, and all of the rest of the things that came, and the rum industry and whatnot. Yeah. Now Europe have worked out that they can use sugar beet, and they can grow that in Europe. I don't know if they did it in a laboratory or not, but now that what does that mean? They're creating a redundancy for the Caribbeans who might still be working on those same cane fields that we was dragged over there to work on. How do we be a part of the international community? You see, we're doing it on a small level here, and this is the battle. But what you're talking about is the big level. When
Yeah.
it comes to bananas, we're supposed to be the man and the women because we live on the fertile land, and we're supposed to be able to turn around to Europe, America, and say we want $10 US for every banana because you can't do it like we can. Do you understand? We do need to be the best. And I believe black should be synonymous with excellence.
Excellence. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So I
Facts.
agree with you on that. But the fact is,
Facts.
we're on the ground level where we're at. Where our people believe that in order for them to be better, I'm generalizing here because I don't believe anybody in this circle believes that. But I know that there's people out there that think in order to be better than you, all I have to do is buy Louis Vuitton. I'll come in and I'll show off a bit, and that's it. I've won. But the fact is, you haven't won because Louis Vuitton is owned by a French man, yeah, and that man owns a whole heap of products. But what happens to African clothing line? Now, your African threads should be the best. And in fact, if you study our history, because we made so many things bespoke for ourselves in this type of society that you're kind of describing here, bro, we were the best. And the finest things was
Exactly.
coming out of Africa.
100%.
That attitude, we lost it. And now we think that buying a German car is the best. But reality is, the African car that hasn't been created yet is the best on the planet.
And it has
That's
to be the
right.
In
best.
action.
And
Yeah?
that's what I was sort of getting into, because there is sort of like why would we want to compete, or why would we want to even have that tick or tack like sort of relationship with the world? And I'm like, look, we don't live in the world is changing. We can't be
Mm-hmm.
nationalistic and ignore the effects of globalization. We can't ignore the effects of no borders and all of these different things that are affecting
Mm-hmm.
us as African people worldwide, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, we need to really focus on competitiveness and gaining a monopoly in a lot of industries and protecting those industries from destroying the planet in environmental. Because me, yeah, I believe, yeah, that black people are the caterers of the earth. They're the ones that are supposed to keep the earth in balance. We're the ones that's
Yes.
supposed to take care of the plants. We're the ones that's supposed to take care of the atmosphere, all of that, yeah. And we can't do that if we don't control the industry, if we don't control and put policies to make sure that certain industry can't run wild. Do you get me? So to do that, we
Straight
need to
up.
dominate those industries. We need to make sure that we are the ones creating those luxury goods that are ethical, that are in par
So,
with the environment. Do you get what I'm saying?
I would even go this far. I'll go this
oh
far,
no,
yeah. I'll say that we are some of the people that are fueling these other industries in order to be great. Because
100.
that person's got a good job in maybe Silicon Valley, helping that empire get further. But the fact is,
100.
we're on a grassroots level. Not all of us can be amazing. Yeah, I mean, at everything. We've got some people that are specialists in a specific area, and we as a community need to get behind them and give them the opportunity to be fantastic for Africa.
100, man.
And this is where we
100.
are right now, because we've got. I saw this video about a boy in Nigeria that created a car that runs on water. I don't know how true that is, but we should have so much investment and security around this boy right now that we should be changing the world with that idea. Do you understand?
100%.
I've met.
100%.
You see, I met one other guy.
man, you know how expensive water would be. You know how expensive water would be after that. Oh
Well, that's
my
the
God.
battle, man. It's the economics is war. That's the battlefield. That's the battlefield. Economics is war. Yeah.
Water
So
would
whatever
be
you
like
want to do,
buying
we've got
gas.
an answer for it. We're Africans. We don't give up. We don't give in. Yeah. So whatever war
100%.
you want to bring us in economics, we're gonna fight back. You
Well,
understand?
and this is what I was also saying earlier to someone as well, that basically that we can't live in this bubble, yeah. Like, it's good, yeah, we are on our own lane, blah blah blah, yeah, and we should not look at what other people are doing, yeah. But that's good, but it's not realistic, because yeah, the world hates us, yeah, and the world hating us is gonna make sure, yeah, that they're gonna deal with us, innit, and they're gonna make sure. Hello.
Yeah, we're here, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure. Yeah, the world hates us. They're gonna make sure they're gonna destroy everything we're building. So we need to be the best. So if China and America are sending rangers to Mars, yeah, to collect one special element that is gonna be detrimental for Black people, it not even have to be detrimental. Just the technology, yeah. We need to be on that. We need to be. If they're sending it to Mars, yeah, we need to be sending it to the next galaxy, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, having that mindset, yeah, that we need to be the protectors and the guardians of every industry and every place that Black people are seen and everywhere we are. So if it's the luxury business, we need to have a monopoly on that. If it's the finance industry, we need to have a monopoly on that, so we can protect the planet, so that we can make sure, yeah, that these fuckers, yeah, don't, come and destroy the planet like they're doing, building their factory with no care, using materials that are not sustainable and destroying us. Do you get what I'm saying?
Straight
So
up.
having all of that, yeah, is very important. And with maybe, having this economics, and if this universal income thing comes to pass, we could use that to make that first step in and having certain energy, because if we invest our money in businesses that are going to be redundant in the next few years due to automation, yeah. Let's say we want to build a factory, but the factory is employing workers. That's going to make us not competitive. Do you get what I'm saying? So we need to train engineers and software engineers to be able to control those robots, right? We need to be on that kind of tip. We need to be thinking forward. What are they going to be doing in the next 20 years? Not open up shoe factories where the shoemaker, it's the person, but having that type of mindset to plan for the future, not just for the present.
Well, I hear that, but we also have to start from where we are. Yeah, and
Facts,
I think Marcus Garvey said that the world kind of sees us in a certain way, and we got to use that to our advantage. So, for instance, look at what China's done. China, everybody goes to them they said, I think they've been exploited for cheap labor. They said, no problem, man, come and exploit away. And to the point where, in order to stay competitive now, you've got to go to China for their exploitation, because you can't afford to do it as cheap as they can. The same thing that Bangladesh, all the clothes that we're buying in London from Primark and these places, they come from Bangladesh.
Not just Primark, bro. Even the top brands are using them now.
Exactly. But hold on. We got Africans that are so hungry right now.
100.
So now, hold on. So yeah. So let's say that with this British pound, a small fraction of that can make such a difference in their lives. If they were skilled properly, they can start to make something with that and start building a community out of it, which means we stay competitive in the British market. Yeah. That we can start to build something. You see?
But this,
then we can start thinking about logistics after that, owning trade routes and all those kind of stuff, yeah? But that would mean us working together. And not everybody, you know, someone starting this off and saying this is the new way to make money. Yeah. Because marketing is a big deal. And and I know how you feel because of a previous conversation about the drugs industry. But you have to realize how heavily marketed that has been. You know, I'm not advertising for it, but what I'm saying is when a man turns up in a broken community in a flashy BMW, and everybody says, "Wow, how did you do that?" He says, "This is how I did it. Follow me." Yeah, and they usually jump on board with him. However, if you come and say, "You know what? I linked up with my cousin in Ghana. We've got people working with me. I get things from them. They grow and planting for me. I ship it over here. I sell it. I triple my money every time the boat lands. So I'm winning right now." What's the next thing they're going to say? Boy, I need to do something like that, you know? My man's got a good little plan there. Do you understand?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
So we actually need to take advantage of the fact that we've been split up into this diaspora. We're in every corner. And to be honest with you, the enemies, all these other communities, especially the European, is a small group of people on this planet. There's a small handful of them compared to us. But their biggest capital is human capital. We are the batteries in their machine. We need to come out and build up Africa now. And the African all over this planet. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah. You guys going in.
Yeah, well. Yeah, so but for me, it all starts, you know, these are big plans, yeah. This is and for me, I see myself as a visionary. So this is a vision that I have. But these things all start with me and you finding a way to be reliable to each other. I've been working in sales, for the first 10 years of my career, because for me, it was like, you know, I can prove that I'm valuable there. But I realized all I'm doing is building up somebody else's business with my sweet talk, my hard work and dedication. All the connections that I make when I shake hands and make plans, swap business cards, it all goes into somebody else's business. It goes into their empire. So right now it seems like a crazy step back for some people, but I started to do construction. And now I'm studying to be an electrician. And because just like that anecdote I gave earlier, I plan to have my bag in my hand. And not only do I plan to be able to be reliable to my community, offer the most competitive prices, the best customer service, and the warmest service, but also we've got some coming of age, like kind of black bar mitzvah organizations in the United Kingdom. We've got the Manhood Academy, Origin Academy, and we've got boys that are coming out of there, learning who they are as Africans, learning about how they're going to relate to the community. But when they come out, they're coming back to the same environment that created them in the first place. I want to be able to take them and say, come with me, little bro. You have to talk black stuff when you're working with me. But I'm going to pay you. I'm going to teach you how to be an electrician, and I'm going to teach you how to be reliable to your community and put some food on your table so a woman can be proud of you. Do you
Big
understand?
up yourself.
But bro, we have an
that.
issue. But bro, we also have an issue, because we have an issue where our youth have bought into the idea of overconsumption and consumerism, Like,
true.
let's say, you may have that job waiting for them, that electrician job, that plumbing job, You're not gonna compete once again, with the man on road, that's saying that you can make this and have this and have this and live nice, and like we have in our generation, my generation, we have an issue of not latent gratification. We want everything instantly, so we don't have this idea of delayed gratification. That if you work hard, you're gonna feel good later. You get me? Come back. We want it now. Like everything is in now culture.
Can't save everybody, Raz.
Yo, Raz, everyone is not gonna make it. Everyone is not gonna be on your same vibration. Everyone is not gonna be there. So like,
I hear you, but sis, I feel like
But if some people don't make the boat, don't make these people sometimes it takes for the ship to start sailing, for people to say, you know what, I'm going with them. Do you think that when Martin Luther King started his marches, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be there"? Sometimes it took 5-10 people to be out there, and they be like, "Okay, well, they maybe
100.
they're not dead or such and such." Maybe the next time it was 20 or 30 people marching. Then next time it was 100 people. You see what I'm saying? So like maybe it takes
100%.
for there to be a momentum. But if in your mind, if you already have a defeated mindset that what we can't compete with the hustlers on the street because we don't they're gonna want their Jordans or they're gonna want this and that, then we want what sense of making a move? You gotta make a move and wait for them to come.
Straight up.
Sis, I was actually coming to that. I wanted to say that like I remember I came to the same conclusion like quite some time ago. I don't know if I was telling you guys, but I came to the same conclusion because coming into this like quite young or whatever, it's like you have this idealistic idea that black people are just gonna be all united. It's gonna be like a Moses moment where everyone's like with the staff and all of that. Yeah, but then I realized there's just some people that are just stuck in the matrix, and until they see an example set forward with them, they're not gonna do anything. And I think it's comfortability, right? Like our people are it may sound crazy, but our people are comfortable in a sense where they're not seeing the adversary right in front of them. It's kind of like you damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, what's the chances? What's the leap? That leap of faith. Bro. It's like, I don't want to because I'm not sure if it's gonna succeed. So let me just stay in this position. At least I'm in master's house. At least master's give me food. Them type of thinking. And I think we need to.
Yeah? Certain people, when you talk to them, you're going to talk all the sense in the world, and the reply that they're going to say is, "Oh, the next generation are going to be the ones to do it." And that, to me, is the weakest comment you can come with, because if you're going to put changing the direction of our community on a baby that ain't even know how to wipe his backside yet, you know what I'm saying? You have to take personal responsibility now. I'm 30 years old. I'm at the age that I can't rely on nobody else. It's my job. I've got to find other brothers like me now. I've got no one to look to. Nobody to complain to now. It's my job. You know what I'm saying? And
that's what happens with maturity.
With my plan, another thing what I'm going to say to you is, with my plan, I know we haven't got the African car yet, but I plan to turn up in that same BMW that the drug dealers got and say, because you know what? That lifestyle is going to teach you that if this is not a long-term plan. You're going to find out the hard way some way. Either your friend's going to teach you through his experience, or you're going to get it through your own experience. But the bottom line is this. You mentioned Moses. Well, guess what? I'm building an ark. I know the water's coming. And everybody knows the water's coming, but they're just comfortable now. But I'm building an ark. As many people want to build this ark with me, the bigger the ark can be. But if you don't help me, then it's just me one that's going to be floating on top of this water. Or me and my small collective. The more people that join us in this collective is a bigger arc, and more of us are going to make it into the future.
You know what they say about the leaders? The best leaders lead by example, and I think that's the issue, because we are a people that have a messiah complex embedded in our head, where if we don't see leaders doing for self, we won't do for self ourselves. And I think that as a collective, and as people who are like-minded and I want to go out there and do the thing and get the job done, if we succeed, it's like if we succeed, everyone else would come. It's like, that saying where it basically goes like, build it and they shall come, or something like that. That's basically it. The same way like in America, when they were doing all this fuckery, America was a shithole, and then they brought over the slaves and things started getting better, and everyone started saying, oh, America could be something. Then all of them started going there. Do you get me? So it's basically that same thing, that we need to make sure that we succeed, and the people that are on this thing succeed, and they're doing good, and they have families, they have houses, and they're living decently, and everyone's like, you know what? We can try this, and then create like a movement and a ripple effect throughout our community.
Yeah, it can be done. Anything can be done, as long as we all do it together, bro. We can do it.
Listen, y'all. I'm just saying, who's coming with me to Wakanda? Who's coming with me to Wakanda? Okay.
Is Lupita gonna be there? Well, hold on. Is Lupita gonna be there?
Yes, Raz.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yeah. But this is, man. If that's the vision, hold it in your heart and build it. That's it.
Yeah, man.
If we're going to be the greatest scientists on the planet, then we need to own a sweet shop and put all of the profit into building a great science school. To put, you know what? I had a teacher in school. I'm not going to say his name. We're on the internet, but he said to me, you know what, JJ, I'm racist. He had me in his office one day. He goes, but I was just raised this way. But you know what? He was really nice to me. I'll be honest with you. There weren't many black people in my school, and he seemed to take some sort of affinity to me. I guess that's why he wanted to share that with me. But he stood up in an assembly once, and he said, "Did you know that black children start school the most intelligent, and by the time they leave school, they get the worst grades?" Now, I wish I was quick enough to say, "Oh, so you lot school system's working then," but I didn't know them times, yeah. But the bottom line is, what kind of schools are we sending our kids to? And is that greatest economics now? Because we're waiting for them to certify our children. All right, let me explain. Let me get deeper now. You want to learn business studies. What kind of business are you learning? Because where we are as a community in business, the skills that you might acquire from them in business means you're going to slot into their businesses and be able to help. But where we are, we might be on a grassroots level. You might need to learn things that are more internationally focused.
And
so
more
we can
on
start building
hands.
bridges. Do you understand? What is success to us? We got to redefine that. Their paperwork only gets us respect in their businesses.
100%.
So we can beg them for a better job. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So we got to literally learn what are the practical skills. Like Marcus Garvey said, God made everybody equal, yeah? But we have to be able to tap into the earth in the same way that everybody else does in order to be able to build ourselves up.
I feel like
their education is a backwards education.
So that teaching that you're talking about starts from early. You know what I mean? When you when not even that you have to physically say it, but when your child sees where you're spending your dollar, then they're just going to be more inclined to naturally spend their dollar in that capacity as well.
Exactly. Especially when they know the shopkeeper as well, because they've been going there for years.
Absolutely.
And they can run to that shop when they run out of money or they don't feel safe. They go into there and see uncle in the shop. This is the Wakanda that I dream of.
Wakanda forever.
So do you all think that we should focus on starting our Wakanda in our own communities, like our physical communities where we live? Or is that possible? Because I mean, in the United States, certain communities are kind of segregated, and then certain communities are also very integrated, as well as, from my understanding of what London is like, from what I've heard, is very integrated as far as everyone lives together. So do you think that that's tangible, or that you're able to do that?
We can do anything we want if we believe in it. Honestly, there is, as much as we say we are integrated, it's if you can go on if you go on Wikipedia and type something in called white flight, that is because I used to go to a school outside of London, just on the edge, and then I told everybody, oh yeah, my mum lives in Tottenham, I stay down that way, and people would say to me, oh, my family used to live in Tottenham, all the white people. See, now white flight is when black people start moving in the area, they start moving out. Do you understand? And then also gentrification. We've got a community like what we had in Brixton, and they saw it as ripe land for them to move in and start setting up their businesses because the area was quite cheap. And that may be because, I'm not sure why, but we didn't develop it as much as we could have. So they're seeing development opportunities. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, that's what it is really. For me, we can still do this in the United Kingdom. And if we're serious, again, remember I had that idea. One property in London can be around 1 million or even 500,000. But you can take that outside of London to a place where they've got these towns that have been kind of dwindled away because people don't think that there's opportunity there. We can create the opportunity there. And everything we do, everybody else wants to be in. We can't even make a dance move without them wanting to know. Turn our love inwards, and they will all bring their money just to find out what we're doing.
They can't even make a dance move.
Huh?
I said, you said they can't even make a dance move.
They can't even make I wonder how a 30-year-old white man can't dance and a 3-year-old black baby has got rhythm already. But that might be for a different discussion, you know what I mean? But the fact is we create but we seem to create and share all the time. We need to create and keep and then nurture and develop it into something that is so mystical that they don't even know how we did it, like the pyramids. Do you understand? That's
Man, you dropping them bombs, JJ. I'm telling you. You dropping
yeah.
them bombs on us. For real, for real.
But we
Listen, I listen, I can't wait. I'm excited. I hope that the people watching are thinking about what, even if you keep your main job,
yes.
start something, learn something, teach yourself something that you will be able to just make a side dollar. And maybe one day that side thing will grow into your main thing. You know, if you are, I know I said it before, but some new people might be watching us. If you have a business that you want to promote, please put that in the chat right now. We all about sharing. We all about building. You never know who might need your services, and who might come across this video at a later time and watch it. So if you have a business, please promote it. You know, I like to take this time to promote my sister, Kushti Cosmetics. Ladies, if you're looking for some makeup, she caters to our beautiful melanated skin. And she also does business with other Black-owned businesses so that the dollar is circulating. Things are imported from the continent into London, UK. She just shipped me something. She shipped me something here in the US. So, you know.
Do you have a website?
Kushti Cosmetics. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now and drop it in the chat.
Perfect. And while you're looking it up, I just want to say something. No matter what you do is your day job, even if you're doing it for somebody else. When you're at home and any of your family members or anybody around, any of the family around you, the extended family, every time you hear that they need something done, and then somebody from outside of the community comes in to do it, it's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable with that. Because that level of uncomfortability that you're feeling is going to be your inspiration to either inspire somebody else to do it or inspire yourself to do it. Do you understand? You know, nobody should be coming into your grandma's house and doing the painting work. It should be you or one of your people that comes in, because no one's going to love and respect our house the way that you are. No one's going to come and fit your auntie's flooring the same way that you or one of your people can, because no one's going to care about them the same way that you can. So every one of these little jobs, even when someone's washing the car, why are you lot washing the car? We're hungry right now. We could all do that job right now. You understand? All of these jobs are opportunities for us.
They need to hear that, man. Because some people just think that, you know, they don't never see themselves doing certain things, and always they so content with other people getting the money. We got to get out of the mindset of being this consumer, you know, and have our hand out and make them pay us, you know.
Straight up. And the fact is, yeah, I'm not going to just get a bit deep with the economics. The fact is, we don't know how long their money is going to last. Yeah, their money is not backed by anything. They just print it out somewhere. But the fact is, if we start doing all the jobs we need to do with each other, if we start learning how to provide each other with the food and the services that we need, the products and services, then even when the money system goes wrong and everybody else's system collapses, we can say, you know what, I usually go to Ade, and Ade connects with his cousin in Nigeria, and then this happens anyway. So we don't even need the money system. We can still do all the things we need because we tap straight into the earth and provide these things for each other. We'll be ready for any system, a barter system, socialist system, Marxist system, capitalist system. It don't matter what system. No system is going to defeat us. All we need to do is start working together and start building together.
Indeed, indeed. Man.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm just with my brethren still. Like, so I missed a bit of it. But yeah, man. We was talking about the Nipsey situation, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a mad thing. R.I.P. Nipsey, man.
Yeah, man. But big up Jay for that last talk still, car. That's 100% on point, man. And I think that knits the actual topic and conversation very well. Yeah, man. But if we don't come together, it's a wrap.
Exactly.
If we don't come together, might as well forget. It's just chattings, man.
100.
Hey,
And I
family,
come together.
there's a question in the chat about cryptocurrency. Anybody knowledgeable about that? You know, that's another area of economics that you know a lot of us are not in, who maybe a little intimidated by it, and just kind of think that that's something that maybe other people should be involved in. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm not a cryptocurrency expert, but I am kind of getting to learn about it. And I am, yeah, I do kind of deal with it myself, and try to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you dabbling a little bit. You dabbling in the crypto.
Yeah, dabbling in a bit of crypto and gold.
Okay. Anybody else on the panel?
Yeah. Go on, bro.
You dabbling too?
I'll leave a link in the description if I can, Sid.
Huh?
For anyone that. No, I'm saying I'll leave a link in the description for anyone that may be interested.
Crypto gold thing. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
man. Hashtag carrot bars, man.
Okay. That.
If the if the cryptocurrency isn't backed by anything, it's very dangerous because it like
Ours
people
is
have
picked by
lost.
gold, baby.
It's backed by gold.
999%. Yep. 999% nine.
Yeah, then
London
I rate that
bullion
still. Yeah, I rate
stamped
that
up
still.
gold.
Yeah, I rate that still.
You
Yeah,
need to come and talk to me, young man. It's not even a joke.
You need to
but everyone's got to talk. But you know what it is, though. Like I said,
Yo,
financial being.
The thing though, yeah, is it backed? It's backed by gold. Is that what they're saying?
Not what they're saying. This is a fact, brother. Not what they're saying.
Cool. No problem. But what does the price go up with gold also?
What you talk about, the cryptocurrency?
Yeah, like so. Say the fluctuation. Is it like what's the actual coin?
Yeah, you know what it is.
It
I
should be
can
jewel,
describe
right?
it, but I can't just. Huh?
It should be like
To me,
jewel.
if
So
it's backed
so
by
with the
gold,
usage of
the
the
price is only
gold.
going to change with gold, isn't it?
You guys
Well,
Hold
it's-
on. Wait.
Then you can just buy gold.
Wait, hold
Do
on
you
one
know what I'm
second.
saying?
Everyone, one at a time, because you guys are talking over each other, so can't really make out. So you were asking the question, E?
No, I'm saying if it's backed by gold and then the currency fluctuates based on gold, like the price of gold, then I would just buy gold. But if it's on another coin, then that one I would find it difficult to understand how that
No,
would
but
work.
that's the beauty of the thing. Yeah, it's like it's
untraceable.
in many ways it's kind of describing in some ways what we're talking about, because basically what they've managed to do is build their own ecosystem. So it's basically a banking system that deals with gold and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
It's mad, to be
And it's
honest.
sort of
But
like
yeah,
there's limitations on gold on buying straight gold. It's like with cryptocurrency, you can basically use it as Bitcoin, or you can use it and not get a trace. You can transfer funds to places where you don't want the funds to be traced, and all of these different
it's a
things.
way of being your own bank as well.
Yeah,
You really know what you're doing and you really function on it properly. And that's what I'm saying. Even right now, it's an education for myself. Do you know what I mean? It's not, as I'm even saying it here, trust me, it's an education, man.
yeah, but would you be able to cash in your gold if you wanted?
Does it
Definitely.
have fees on that though? No.
Say that
Like
again.
what's the fees? Like so you
Fees.
pay, yeah, like so you pay when you buy and you pay when you sell.
You see what happened, Nine? What happened when you open your mouth? Now they asking all these questions.
See, but don't worry, man, because on the Rice and Pea show, I'm gonna have a program specifically for it. I'm gonna get a couple of the people, and they're gonna be there to ask the questions, man. Because I don't want to start.
It works on the form of a system of a blockchain. As I've got a system called the Pentium, which helps music artists to able to create funds for each of their projects. It's a system that you're able to connect it to any form of resource if you want it to, because it works on its own. but it works on a blockchain system.
It is a blockchain. That's absolutely correct. Which
Yeah.
obviously, not even obviously, but it is the way forward still. And it's
Yeah.
something that I would encourage us all to really try to get knowledgeable upon.
Yeah, because if
I
you
did
check
in my
on,
work
I will
with.
put in the back chat. I've got a system called the Pentium, which is it works for music artists.
Oh
So
wow!
if music artists want to create funds for their projects, so what it does is it enables for them to collect and it enables for them to keep their copyrights and everything else. But I can go on for a whole couple of hours on that, but that's what the system does. So it works as a form of a blockchain.
Like sort of like the issue sort of comes in when the government controls the electricity that you need to check in and pay things with, so they can shut it off at any moment. So it's like, with that you need like what they usually say is that you need 10% of your net worth in like virtual reality, like basically like the electronics and stuff, and then another 20%, 10 to 20% of gold assets that are tangible. In case of a
So in a
financial crisis.
portfolio.
So
Yeah, exactly.
were you guys aware that Akon has his own cryptocurrency
Yep.
called, what is it? Aeon.
Oh man.
Acorn.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Aecoin.
A
Yeah, okay.
queen.
I just wanted to put that out there, fam. If you want to,
What's it backed by?
Zubiri Ajamat. What is it backed by? Do you know?
What's it back by?
I don't know. I'm asking the person in the
So
chat.
I didn't hear you because you kind of
Yeah, someone in the chat was the one who mentioned
But like
that.
creating
You speaking?
no, I'm chatting to my brother. So.
Okay. So yeah, I was just someone in the chat had mentioned about Akon, so I was asking them if they know what it's backed by. He said that he does not know for sure, but it's definitely something we could look into. So real quick, my brother Shakara, just wanted to say bless up, brother Shakara. He's in the chat, and want to let everyone know to tune in on Wednesday as Shakara speaks. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Shakara, if you want to put in the chat what your next show is going to be about, but it should be this coming Wednesdays when his show is, and then on Tuesday we have Scattered Minds at 7 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. And I think that is now, golly, what time is that? My time, y'all. Is that 2? We back at 2 o'clock my time? I don't know. But I think it's 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's the time I'm going to go with. But make sure you subscribe to Scattered Minds channel and then hit the notification bell, and then you'll be notified whenever it is he goes live. And then on Sunday, please tune in and subscribe to Rice and Peas Show. No, it's 9 Ether 99. That's the name of the channel, and the name of the show is the Rice and Peas Show. And make sure you subscribe to that. Hit the notification bell. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when the peas is going to be on the stove cooking. Right,
That's right. That's right. We had Saturday soup the other day.
Yes,
switched it up.
Be there, and on Mondays, y'all know how we do on Constructive Convos. Brother E, next week is the fourth episode of our nation building series, and the show will be on E Black. Yeah, I'll get right back to you guys.
Sorry, say that again.
Next week's show will be on for our nation building series. It's going to be on,
how can we better protect our leaders?
How can we better protect our leaders? Because that is definitely something that is impacting our nation. As soon as it starts, we start coming together, people start learning and growing and wanting better, then boom, something happens, and then a little
Yeah,
outcry. But
about the Messi thing.
Yeah, everything got lock off.
Yeah,
that's,
man.
yes, what Brother Raz just said. Okay, so what you call it? This is the okay. So, brother Shakarai posted a link. He said he doesn't have anything scheduled for this coming Wednesday, but I have a feeling by Wednesday he gonna have something. So I think you should subscribe anyway and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So my brethren is asking, yeah, on this Nipsey thing, like based on us like losing a leader and stuff, how you lot feel about that?
Well,
What do you mean? How we feel?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want to say something? Boy, well, Nipsey. Well, look, when I heard the news today, I'm gonna be straight up with you, man. It was like I lost somebody that I knew. I was heartbroken this morning, and the reason for that is because I saw the movements that he's doing. And if you mind my bad language, I feel that Nipsey Hussle's whole approach was raising niggers from the dead and turning them into Africans. And there were certain principles that he was putting in place which started to make us realize that we can do anything we want to do. So, and just to mention a couple of these things, sorry, so it would be like black-owned business, forget the middleman. Obviously, the cryptocurrency he spoke about, not being so reliant on music industry, so we can say whatever we want in our own message. So for me, that turned into him starting to look like the Black Messiah that J. Edgar Hoover said that he wants to stop the rise of. Now that's from the FBI files that have been released because of the Freedom of Information Act. So he was doing all the right things. So maybe it was the Dr. Sebi documentary. Maybe it could have been anything else that was part of his manifesto. But losing that brother, we lost the flamethrower. Do you understand? But you have to continue that whole movement in his image. We have to honor his life more than his death. That's my thing on Nipsey. R.I.P. to the great.
Well, family, that I don't even know how you follow that, but I think that we can definitely look to hear that and a lot more on as we kind of unpacked such a deep topic of rebuilding, picking pieces up, and what how to strategy and all of these different elements that come up with when you deal with having one of your leaders, one of your greats just taken away like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you was gonna say something?
No, I'm agreeing with you, sis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
So
but sis,
go ahead.
One thing you got to kind of say, he hasn't gone, and he never will think of being gone, because
Come on now.
to keep that energy thriving and keep that energy moving is that he's in each and one of us, no matter what, because we've all got the same kind of formalities of ideas. So that flame is always going to be burning, and that's what will keep him alive.
Yes, I agree. You talk that talk, and that's exactly how it should be. So like I think how many times when you bring up the topic of economics, everyone brings up Black Wall Street, and I think part of the reason why is they're trying to bring that spark, that same thing like you were saying about like our ancestors, because if we just become slaves to this current economic system, then we're saying that those people died in vain. We're saying that those people lost their community. They watched their whole community burn down, and we didn't have the guts to fight for them. We didn't have the guts to kind of repair and to rebuild. So you're absolutely right, Brother Terry. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And on that note, we got to go, fam. It's 6:30. We appreciate you. We thank you for coming and and building with us. It's been great. Anybody got any last words for the man?
One love to the family.
One love.
One love.
Peace.
Yeah, good build again. always relevant topics and subjects, man. So yeah, man, keep up the good work. Although I just see a notes is in the back
Me
chat, so I don't know
too.
if, don't know if you want to check that,
Well,
man.
my bad. Y'all gotta tell me something in advance. That's why you know you
Yo, we
gotta
still
love this
live,
show
yeah.
because we're live. You know, so
Remember there was a slight delay in the
yes,
start.
you made a
See that?
goddess, made a boo boo.
Yo,
Y'all see, y'all gotta keep
so
me on point.
melanated. We're
Yes,
still alive, yeah?
yeah, I know.
Okay. My bad.
That's what I'm saying. I made a what I'm supposed to do. I already said peace. So carry on.
All right. Well, 15 minutes left, sis. So
Okay, we have
mm,
15 more minutes to the show.
But yeah, on the
but
Nipsey thing as well, man. Yeah, like on economics thing, I think he did show a lot in terms of like the CD thing, right? Where he sold his mixtape for $100. Like he gave a blueprint for people to value things properly instead of just what everybody else is valuing them at. Because if you provide more value, you can like get a better price. And I think he yeah, like he opened up the door for that, and that was very influential for independent artists coming up, not then having to take certain deals from labels that would have like messed up their generational wealth. Because I saw with a rapper, I think his name's Juice WRLD, yeah. I don't know the tune, yeah, but it was basically Sting wrote a track and and also on the publishing of it, yeah, and it had a guitar string in there, and that guitar string is in the Juice WRLD track, yeah, as a sample, and he then gets like 85% of the money. And he was asked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I like the song. It's gonna pay for my grandchildren's tuition." So like yeah, he did give a blueprint for some people to avoid having to be in positions like that and be able to own their masters, and then buy back the block is another thing that he is a part of the movement of talking about and basically doing positive things, from a, a street person that people would say is a real street person, then coming and promoting stuff like being a pillar of the community. I think that's yeah, it's a big loss, man.
Well, not a big loss. You know, you got to look at it like a big example. You know what I
No,
mean? A big
it
example
definitely is,
for.
innit? Yeah, but it's a loss in it. We got to bounce back in it, definitely. Yeah, straight away.
Mhm.
It's like it's a loss, man. Man's not gonna lie.
Straight
Mm.
away, bro. Straight away. No long thing. No long
Trust me.
thing. Get the blueprint and run with it, fam. The marathon has to continue. His life cannot be in vain. No way. I can't let that happen, bro.
Just saying the Sebi thing hasn't, you get me? That definitely has to get released now.
Trust me. But yeah, no,
Doing
the
big
marathon
moves.
continues, man. It doesn't like whoever drops, man, we keep going, man. Yeah.
But you got to always remember, even with him doing his own blueprint, there's a lot of people that are behind the scenes that you will never get to know or see, which will continue that same flame.
That's
That's
true.
why you will see. I'll use a lady for example as Queen Afua. Queen Afua is able to build with Laura London in the forms of giving him a better mindset, which she continues her work in creating Sacred Woman. So you have people like that in the perspective that are doing the works behind the scene, and you would not really know much about it into making a greater man as what he is.
Mm, that's deep because she's touched a lot of different people. You
Yeah.
know, I want to
So
say isn't I think Erica Badu is a
yeah,
sacred woman.
Erica Badu, India.Arie.
Mm-hmm.
She's even
They've
worked for
gone.
Doctor. She even did projects because Doctor Sabi able to help Queen Afua to making some of her supplements and products. So you get to see where there is the connections where it relays to a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm. It's deep, man. It's deep.
So there's a lot more to Nipsey Hussle than we actually know. There's a lot of people behind him that really, really pushed him to what he has done. So that's why I always say that he's in people, and he's touched a lot of people's hearts.
Does anybody know if he actually finished the documentary?
No one's really too sure yet. It will come out soon.
But I think there are parts of it that are completed, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all into the filmmaker's hands now. So it's how it's going to get done.
Because I think that there's a part of his legacy, man, that has to come out, man. That was his last piece of, work that we were trying to push.
Yeah, like now everybody's going to be asking for it, innit?
Yeah.
Weather was in control as well, so it's not really a situation where someone can just shut it down, innit?
But you said who was in control?
Like they was doing it, innit? Like it was a documentary between their team. So like someone is not going to be able to stop it, innit?
Right.
Well, they're always what he's done. Even if he doesn't do it, it has highlighted something that will make and open up eyes of others to creating that documentary. Full stop.
Trust. Someone might even make a movie about Dr. Sebi.
Because even people like Tahuti Matara, who has done quite a few of health documentaries, who has got Sebi in it. It can highlight his projects. There's many of them like that. Even up to his surrogate son, KT Arch degree.
I didn't know that's Dr. Sebi's son.
Yes, he raised KT.
Oh wow! Well, that's why he's into those herbs and stuff.
Yep, because he was sick. Remember, what a lot of people don't know, their red pill and blue pill's mother was married to Sebi.
Oh, Mama Pill.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why she was into
makes
health.
A lot of sense. So, it's pretty much like what you said. Like there's people that. Yes, we are. People, share their knowledge and so forth, and are integral parts in building a person up and making them great, or helping them to be great. Let me say it that way, helping them to be great. And, that process continues.
That's why they would say education is key.
And I guess, even just tying it back into the whole economic side of things, it's more of the reason for why we need to be securing ourselves as a community, because when the people who are on the ground at the minute pass and go, we need the resources to still be able to continue the good work where it was left off. And I mean, inheritance, that's something that maybe perhaps our community don't do so well at the minute.
Yeah. That whole passing stuff.
Generational wealth.
Yeah, we need to work on it. Even, not even generational, even sideways. The ones there. Between siblings and beyond. The ones there. Because like those kind of moves definitely make sense in terms of like if you're like siblings and you're of this nearly the same age, like it makes sense to move out together, get a place together and do these kind of moves and buy a place together, and then rent it out, maybe live in a place together cheaper, and these kind of moves.
Most people don't want to do that though.
Yeah, but it's not always about what you want to do. It's about what you want to get.
What you mean?
So like sometimes you might not want to do that workout, but you want to get fit, so you do it anyway.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know. So like you might not want to, you might want to live in a certain way at a certain point, but if that doesn't equal what you want to get, then you got to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, sometimes some people don't even realize that how things work. It sometimes can work on a spiritual moment. And this
What do
is
you mean
why
by that, bro?
sometimes we have to make sure that we record what our elders give us.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like we're losing loads of things, even down to the simplest things like recipes.
Hmm.
It's like yeah, we're losing a lot, man. Information. It's like last year I was chilling with my granny, right? Like and asking her enough questions about like the past and family and all of these things. And my granny, she's 83, right? So it's like I was thinking, right, like if I didn't find out this stuff now, yeah, and like she could have died a couple years ago or whatever, yeah, I would never have known loads of stuff. Like no one else knows it, and the ones there would have just been gone.
Hmm.
That's just ridiculous. So yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need to get better at recording our history and connecting the dots. And I think like, with our children, we should be showing them family tree. Like to the best of our ability to formulate it, they should know as much as possible, innit? And it makes sense.
Yep. Family goals right there, family aspirations, things that, we should start introducing and incorporating into our family, for real. I mean, yes, it's important to talk about economics, but a lot of it is, just physically being that example too. So showing your kids, to revere your elders and that they are a source of information. Because one day you're going to be the elder and they're going to be still needing to get information from you, or your grandkids will need to get information from you and, continue on the cycle.
Yeah, and that's where you would say the economics it actually starts from home, as we were speaking about it yesterday. Um, to knowing, understanding our children and everything else, understanding how the house works, how the family works. This is part of the economical system.
Yeah, you were saying how the family is the economics of the family. Break that down real quick, brother Terry, before we roll up out of here.
Oh, just basically understanding how do you maintain a house? A house is a system where you've got to have someone that does probably the garden, probably someone does the washing, someone does the shopping. This is how it's a functional system of how a business works in that perspective. So if we understand that we can able to develop things within our own home, then it's able to develop things in the form of a community. You can't function if your house is messy or dirty. So you've got to able to understand that if people have different roles within the household, it's the same formality of having different roles within a business, which has different roles within the community.
So your family is your business.
Yep.
Hmm. People got to get business smart, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We need that. We need that type of smarts going on in the community. People to get business smart, get family smart, Get community smart.
Because no one gets trained even on the formality of most children don't get trained on money. We just know that children just know that they get money and they spend it.
Mm-hmm.
So by teaching them and showing them is the
I
beginning
remember
of it.
I remember my son thinking as long as I had a plastic card in my hand that I had money. He's like,
Exactly.
just use your card, mommy. Just use your card. I'm like, what? What?
Do you know what I
You
mean?
gotta have money in the card. And he's looking at me like, money in the card? How could money be in the card?
So by even showing them how money works and where money comes from the chair of your creativity, that you have to put the work in, and showing the child how that works, then it's more likely they will understand that money can't just be spent anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. Well, family, for real this time, it's about that time for the show to come to an end. But we thank you so much for joining us today, talking about nation building, talking about economics, group economics, and how to build. We talked about our energy, our time being forms of our economics, or our resources. I mean, man, we talked about all different kinds of stuff. If you missed it, scroll back when the show is over and watch it because it was awesome. And I thank everyone for joining us. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Blessings, family. Big up.